Yes, yes.
That's not easy. How do you do that?
Sure. So, do you want to do this as a Q&A?
No, anything.
I love his passion, by the way. He's everywhere.
We want questions from everyone.
Of course. So you are just warming up everyone. So let me start with this question, right?
Can I add one point to that question?
Sure, please. By the way, can we do a rule? Can you introduce your name, yourself, your company, and where you're from? What city you're from?
My name is Nagaraj Kulkarni. I'm from Competence. We create information advantage for companies. I'm from Bangalore.
Bangalore, perfect.
Yeah, one question, one addendum to his question. How do you do that when you are not Tarkan Manar and you're an unknown person?
Sure, no.
Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not that known. Trust me. That Google guy with the Google card and everybody, MR is more famous. But I'm going to close the door. There's a lot of echo going. Thank you so much. So, look, nobody is born as Gandhi. Nobody is born as Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, right? I mean, we all get into what we do over time. So my background is, you guys are going to be interested. My background is industrial engineering. I was in car industry. I was designing cars. That's what my career started. I'm from Turkey originally, as you know. And my first job was designing interior design of cars, literally. And it was very boring for me. And I want to get into business. And we used to use AutoCAD, the design software, mostly being developed in India, like many other software products.
Jonathan in Apple, who was also a designer of cars.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I should be like him, right? I should have his paycheck. I should have his paycheck. My salary is zero. So to make long story short, I jumped into this because I really love software. And then I came to the United States from Turkey, from Germany at the time. I used to work for German car makers. And then got into software, and one thing led to another. What I found out is, in software specifically, innovation with smaller teams are unbelievably faster and much more better. I worked for large companies, and one IPO led us to build a small company, and we sold it. And I saw the opportunity actually building value by creating technology with smaller teams who've never done big companies before. So to answer your question, we were unknown. We were nobodies. We were in our early 20s, 23, 24 years old. We sold our first company for $1 million. And it was back in 1993, 1994 timeframe to a larger company doing database tuning, Oracle tuning. That was our first deal with it. And none of us were DBAs. But we saw a great technology, and we agreed that it can be positioned better. And the key thing to success was to question, obviously from you as well, really loving what you do. Because if you love what you do, and I don't want to share this as a cliche, please don't get me wrong, okay? Because a lot of people come give a lot of advice. Advice is free, as you know, in most cases, unless you work for McKinsey. In our case, we really loved what we do, and customers believed in what we're doing. And the company who acquired our technology, first company, really believed that we're behind this. And we were behind this 100%. There were a lot of customers had big problems with this product, with the technology, that the company who acquired us, and we visited every customer in person. We spent time with them, understand the issue. It's a lot of hard work. So those pieces are, in my opinion, is the differentiators. Like spending time with the customer locally, touching with them and meeting with them in person. I know some of the people in the room, especially millennials, early 20s, don't understand that because they are coming from the social media world. They think every single Instagram post or Facebook post is deal closed. I think the old school, which I believe is the right way to do, the hard work, meeting the people, asking the questions, and also enjoying the problem. Like, and again, I don't want to sound cliche, but customers who have issues and challenges are the best ones to innovate, right? Because if they cannot solve a problem, is exactly where you need to go. Like as a CEO, for instance, I tell my team, I don't like to see happy customers because that's a waste of time for me. I want to see unhappy customers because those are the ones have the challenges that we can innovate and create new products for. That's an opportunity. I'll be very honest. I'm very open on this kind of stuff. Nexenta is an open source company, open source based company doing software defined storage on commodity hardware, which means a lot of permutations of product, right? It's a difficult thing to do. There is a reason nobody does software defined storage. Everybody says they do software defined storage, but they actually sell appliances. Because the reason is selling an appliance is very simple. You certify and test only one drive, one line of code base, one flash, one set of flash, and you test it and you sell it like PCs. Like Michael Dell basically reinvented PC business. He made something complex coming from IBM, very simple, cookie cutter, and sold like bread, right? And that's amazing. That's innovation, right? Michael did a phenomenal job, and I admire him for that. In storage, it's still very complex, and complexity brings profit. So the hardware vendors still make it complex, even though it should be not complex. We chose the hard way. We said, in order to disrupt the industry, make it software only. So you can run on anything you want, on any x86 server, on any flash or disk, which is difficult. So when I was looking at investments, the reason I saw Nexenta as a huge opportunity, because storage vendors were having a hard time selling product. And I'm not, by the way, guys, please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to do Nexenta promotion, which I'm doing. The reason I'm giving you the context is because the context behind this is important. I think disruption is a huge opportunity for India. And I'm trying to tie this to India. I'm not trying to come to tell you what is great about us or this or that. I think in India there's a huge opportunity for this. That's why I'm giving this context. Please don't get me wrong, okay? So going back to the Nexenta story, what they were trying to do was so difficult, nobody could do it, and nobody had the guts to it. And we saw it, that is going to change the industry. And since storage is so critically important, because data is the main differentiator, none of the other assets, data is. If you can manage the data, you can do anything. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're trying to achieve as the industry is contextual intelligence, artificial intelligence, right? That's what we're trying to automate. Ultimately, automation is to create the human brain. That's what we're trying to do. Why are we building computers? We're trying to create the human being, another human. When you think about it this in a Zen way, to the ultimate, thousands of years from now, what's the ultimate goal? Why are we building computers? To make the work more automated. Ultimately, we're building the human being. It's going to artificial intelligence, robotics, and there are other moral issues about this. That's a different conversation. But ultimately, to do this on any platform and managing that data in a contextual way is the holy grail. And I believe the reason India has a huge opportunity is because you have the brains and the experience both from a software and service perspective for the past 3-4 decades, since World War II. With all the innovation and investment. So my 2 cents to this is going back to sales, tying to this. I think in order to be successful companies globally, the context is important. I think as Indian companies, there has to be more global connection, like these events that MR and the team is doing, fantastic. Please give a big hand to all these volunteers. These guys are doing their full-time job plus this. I think it's a lot of work. And the key thing is, I believe, finding those niche areas, in disruptive areas, which is not done by anybody else, and make it much more cost effective. Once that's done, and product is, and solution that you're selling is distinguished, differentiated, now the narrative and how you tell the story. My favorite salespeople are not the slick salespeople. I hate slick salespeople. Like come with a suit, everything is perfect, they tell the same story all the time. I don't like that. I have my sneakers on. I go to meetings like this. I think it's not about the looks but it's about delivery. And what I tell my customers, at the end of the day in software and technology, things always break. Nothing is 100% perfect because everything is changing all the time. The key thing is the service you will get from me personally as the CEO of the company and from our team. We are owners. 50% ownership of my company is owned by the employees. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not just sharing this to impress you guys. Please don't get me wrong, okay? Again, some CEOs do this. I don't take salary from my company because I invest in my company. When I do these trips, I do it from my own pocket because that's my investment to my business. And I tell the customers, when you call me at 3 a.m., my phone rings, I answer that phone not as an employee 8 to 5. Because if you're dealing with an 8 to 5 employee in a large company, After 5 p.m., they're not working. They're not going to answer the phone until 8 a.m. I'm just being facetious with the example. Of course, many of us work over off hours and so on. But we are truly 24/7 because this is our life. I bring my wife to my meetings. My wife, she's a nurse. She uses technology. I involve her also, my family life. Because we want to make sure that we know each other and I need to understand her business and she needs to understand my business. Even though we, obviously, for a happy family life, we don't talk about work all day, but we connect dots together as much as possible because that's our life. This is what we love to do. And my customers know the fact when they deal with me, they know I will be there 100%. Not only in words, but in action. So when I come to India, we have a lot of customers here. Vikram and Suhas are in the back. Raise your hands, Vikram and Suhas. They're my bosses. I tell them always, take me to the customers and partners who have the biggest problems. Because I'll tell you, most CEOs don't like to see problematic customers. Fact. If John Chambers from Cisco comes here, does he tell you take me all the problematic customers? That's your job to deal with it. In my opinion, for the new generation of CEOs, the job of me is to enable our team and our customers to feel basically they have from top down good support and service. And again, it's not just for fun of it or marketing reasons. Tough customer has tough situations and issues nobody can solve. If we can solve it, I have a new product, disruptive. Another new solution to sell and win. That's the reason. It's an opportunity, right? Yeah, that's the reason. So, thank you. One clap. I love this guy. We should hire him. Anyway, what's your name?
Kishore.
Kishore, where are you from?
Next orbit. Bangalore.
Okay, Bangalore. How many people local here, Bangalore? Can you raise your hand? Okay, not everybody. Okay, this maybe 60%. So rest of the India also represented. Emar, what is the percentage footprint in the room? Like half and half, India?
50% Bangalore, 50% Chennai.
Chennai, another location. Very cool. Maybe it's not the direct answer to every single question, black and white, but I'm just trying to touch multiple topics. Any other question?
Let's go back. Sorry, I
Yeah.
have to follow up with this follow-up.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like this guy, right? He doesn't know
This single clapper.
a single clapper. He
I
doesn't
love
know
him.
anybody. He's got a new company. How the heck do you get into the first? So you're saying find a difficult account.
I think, yeah.
Just go in there and try to help them.
I think it is first customer. I'll be also not be true about this. We bought Nexenta, my investors and myself, after the company started 3 years. So I had the luxury to go to the 50,000. We had 5,000 customers when I joined the company. Now we have in the last year we got 1,000 new customers. So we have 6,000. The reason I joined the company as an investor was because I truly believe software industry is going to change completely. And as you guys know, open source is going to change the game. It used to be open source used to be a marketing tool. Hey, we're open source, but not, right? Red Hat, right? We're open source, but I would like to sell you licenses. I think everything is going to go open source in a big way, and I think there's a huge opportunity in India for that. So when you're open source, to be honest with you, customers are already there, right? They're already downloading your product. So aside from that, from my previous engagements, I think the first customer engagement is the most important, and I gave that example earlier. Regardless of your product, I believe you should not be greedy. Give to get. I would love to have more references than profit. References are more important than profit, in my opinion. Some people might not agree. Even in my company, I have sales leadership don't believe in this because they want to make their commissions. But I believe as a startup, especially in this day and age, where freemium is a big deal, and there are different ways to make money, I believe give to get, giving the customer free product, free service to get them referenceable, but also tell them, in order for us to grow, we need to charge you. But we want to get you there to a point as low cost as possible is the way to do. And I'll assure you, 90% of the people are going to say yes in this meeting, and they're going to say, this guy is a freaking screw up. We're not going to do that. We're going to get profit. Most CEOs don't agree with this. So I rather swim across the, against the current on this. I truly believe, especially Indian entrepreneurs around the world, as you're building your business, a couple of things you have. You have super IQ, you know the space in and out, you've been in this for a long time, and be easy on the customers. Show them, Give them to get more. Give to get, I think, is a huge opportunity. But give to get needs to connect to a reference, a success story, a press release, an announcement, and they're going to get on the phone and become customer advocates for you. They're going to talk to the next customer as your sales rep. I'll do that work for you, free. If you give me that success story, if you talk to my next prospect as my reference, as my rep, I'll do anything for you. That's the way I look at it. Does that answer your question, Emar? Yeah. Obviously, there are other dimensions to this, right? We need to have the great product, great people, training, all those stuff. Don't assume that I'm just focusing on one topic. There are many other things. I just don't want to speak about basics. Basics about the product, marketing, pricing, go-to-market strategy in terms of sales training, channel training. All those things are obviously important. Yes?
Hi.
Rule.
Yeah, my name is Hiren.
Yeah.
I'm co-founder of a company called Reach All.
Reach all.
Reach All, yeah. It's a
Reach
Bangalore-based,
all.
startup.
One word. Reach all.
Reach All, yeah.
Okay.
We make digital marketing products.
Promote your company, dude. Reach all. Reach all.
Trying to reach.
Yeah.
You already mentioned downstairs you just slept like 2 hours every night for the last 3 weeks. But if
Did
you
you
had
tell-
more time,
I'm only 11 years old. Look at me.
that was my
Looking
second
old,
question.
I
What's
mean,
your age?
Yeah.
If you did have more time, what are the other bigger problems you would like to solve apart from storage?
So look, thank you for the question. So obviously software-defined storage is the space we're in. That's the technology we're in. But we have a bigger vision than software-defined storage. From a technology perspective, we believe a term called OpenSDX, as a term we coined, open source collaboration with software-defined everything innovation. SDX, software-defined X, means software-defined everything to us. So we call that OpenSDX. Our view is to enable businesses and government agencies around education, healthcare, all the other important human services coming from government, also private sector. We believe IT is the biggest benefit, biggest enabler, but also biggest cost item. Technology is #1 cost item. I just had a meeting with NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Organization in the US. They are checking the data from the satellites for all the global warming issues. They're managing all the satellites, and they have petabytes and petabytes data, and they are standardized on Nexenta. I'm in that meeting, not as a salesperson. I'm learning, and I'm eating this up, right? These guys are doing all these amazing algorithms to define what's going on in India, global warming, the typhoon activity, and so on. And by the way, they provide data around the world to all the news channels so they can talk about the air traffic control. And they're saving lives, right? It's a big deal. To me, that's not software-defined storage. That's not storage or infrastructure. That's enabling something bigger than what we do. So those are the pieces really excite me. I'm on the board on Silicon Valley Education Foundation. We built the largest education cloud in Silicon Valley right now. MR is involved as well with Rokana, and Rokana is our new India-based, India-descended running for the Congress out of San Jose, by the way. We're going to have our first congressman, hopefully, from India in Palo Alto for the entire southern region for San Jose, where I live. So Ro and I and MR and Silicon Valley Education Foundation, we're working on this big education cloud. This cannot work on hardware-based systems. Impossible. Economics will not work. So those are the pieces that excite me. So more than beyond the time I work here, my time is, a lot of my time, MR knows well, spent with Silicon Valley Education Foundation, with World Economic Forum. I'm one of the founding members of the Education Commission. So we do a lot of education work in Africa as well. So it's a lot of work, but not ourselves. We work with other people. We truly believe public-private partnerships. That's another topic I just want to share. I'm glad you asked. I think as entrepreneurs, it is critically important to also connect the dots with government officials. In some countries, government officials are seen as corrupt people. In some countries, they're like, not efficient. I know you guys in India going through a huge transformation with Modi, and there's a lot of good hope, like in the US we did with Obama. I'm a big Obama supporter, I'll be very honest and direct on this. We believe democratic values and what's going on in the US. There are things always broken, but there is always hope for doing better. And I think in India there is huge hope for the next decade with everything that the new government is pushing for, and the new generation coming. One key thing I think for the entrepreneurs, also actively building partnerships with public service, with the government. And it doesn't have to be with prime minister or president, local government. Connect them with them, bringing them, make them involved, support them. It's not only cash, sometimes time, sometimes volunteering. What can we do? And I think that's a good sales strategy, not just for being nice. We were talking about the first customer call. My first customers usually are public service companies because they need help. And they would love to pay zero. And they would love to get innovation for nothing. And they're best references. In most of my companies, my first deals are always with hospitals, schools, universities. Because they need technology, and they're your best references as long as you deliver the right product. Going back to a question from earlier, those are the opportunities, I think, to win more. So to go back to your question, that area is also fun, loving work for me to help schools and so on. But I'm not just doing this because I'm nice. I'm doing it, I'm enjoying it, there's nicety behind it, but at the same time there's profit behind it. And that's what they want. They don't want a CEO from US comes in and does, photo opportunity. I love this. You guys know this OLPC, one laptop per child? Behind that there are 10 PC companies, their logos, they go to India, Karnataka, small village, poor kids, take a picture, marketing, that's great. But what's behind that? How is it sustainable? Is it going to work? When that laptop is broken, who are they going to call? Is it in the local dialect? Is the OS is open source? Can they fix it? Are we teaching the people to make this happen? I think these are all opportunities for us as entrepreneurs in India and other countries to make sure this is sustainable, self-sustainable. Make it profit-oriented so the government wins, citizens wins, and the entrepreneurs win. Right? So from that perspective, going back, to me, doing this is enjoyment. It's part of my life. But at the same time, it helps my company to be successful with profit on it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Rule?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Shreyas. I work for HP.
HP,
I'm from Bangalore.
HP, the Hindustani Petroleum or HP? To me, the first HP is the petroleum company. No, by the way, joking aside, look, I really believe competition makes us better, okay? Please, I know it's all recorded. Now HP people are, Meg is going to call me. I know Meg very well. She's wonderful, and HP is doing a great job. I mean, phenomenal, innovative company. By the way, just to let you know, there was no Palo Alto before HP. Hewlett and Packard built that city. Stanford University and all this innovation, VC. When you were a startup, do you think Citibank would give you money to start a company? They want their money back, 10% interest in a month. I mean, this VC model is amazing, isn't it? Unbelievable. Just with a PowerPoint presentation, you're raising $10 million, $1 million, $100,000. In what industry can you have that besides IT? HP defined that. Hewlett and Packard defined that. So we thank you.
Thanks. So my question was,
What a dry text. I'm not giving my heart out to you guys. Okay, thanks. Let me get back to my question.
my question was,
I know, no love.
my question was, you're in a business where you bring in commodity hardware, you package it with open source software and create a solution out of it. Now, this is a very easily replicable model, right? So how do you plan to keep yourself differentiating from upcoming or already people who are in competition with?
Of course, very good. So we use a file system called ZFS, a zettabyte file system. It started actually at Sun back in 2000. This is like 14-year-old. Let me give you a little bit of history. By the way, turn on the, if you could, turn on the lights. Don't make it too dark. What's that? I know, it's just like weird. I feel like a musician. Like I feel like Britney Spears. I need to move and shake my belly. So when you look at the ZFS and how it started and how Sun open sourced this, and when Oracle bought Sun, basically the founders of this left Sun. They didn't go to Oracle and started Nexenta. They are the original founders and group of the folks working around Nexenta with other companies doing this. We have thousands of developers building, like Hadoop, like ZFS. These are the, for the future, right? The same thing now in object storage with a lot of other startup companies. You're absolutely right. And that's the beauty of this industry. It's moving so fast. And I believe in software, in anything, everything is compatible, at the same time competitionable, if that's the word, if that's a new adjective for us. Because I think with the new network around social media, how we connect, literally, I've done 10 Instagrams in the last 30 minutes and tweeting about NASCOM, I'm promoting what we're talking about. People are now literally sending me tweets. Hey, ZFS, we have a ZFS company in India. I just got a tweet to me earlier. Some guy in the audience said he has a product similar to mine. I love that. The way we stay above the fray and lead and differentiate in two ways. One is hiring and retaining the best people. Because in software, everything you can replicate, everything is imitatable. The only thing you cannot imitate is someone else's brain, at least until now. So we hire the best people. That's why we give 50% of the company to employees. So when you're working at Nexenta, you're owner. When the company IPOs, you have a huge value approach and value upside. And that's why we retain a lot of good people. On the record, Google guys here? Oscar is here? Or Cesar? You're here. Anybody from Google here? Google, I'll tell you very open, okay? Google is a phenomenal company, as you know, like HP. They have a lot of cash. We're a startup. My director of, I have about 10 architects. My director of architect is Murat, one of the guys that own 2 points in the company. They offered them $1 million package to hire him because Google wants to build a huge, I mean, they're storage experts, right? Google does an amazing job. So he came to me and goes, can you match this? I said, are you freaking kidding me? We're like zero salary, dude. We're like investors. I can't even match $10. You're gonna like asking $1 million? I said, but you should go and interview and learn. So actually, he went to interview to Google and interviewed 50 people. With 50, unbelievable. You Google, you guys are unbelievable. You got gods of interviews. Like interview, like the guy like spent. I'm not feeling. So he interviewed 50 people, came back. We are a very open company, open source. I said, go interview if they love the job and go take it. So he came back from true story, okay? 50 interview. He came back. He has an offer package. I swear to you guys, 72 pages, like meetings, whatever. I'm like, dude, I want to work for this company. It's unbelievable. But he doesn't leave because we're a small company, growing very fast, and big ownership. Google is a public company. At a public company, there are certain things you cannot do. Fact. If I own a public company speaking like this, I will be hanged in the US when I go back. In Korea, definitely they're going to kill me. Joking a little aside, I'm accentuating this a little bit, the fun a little bit here, but in a startup environment, I think the upside is more. A, you can learn anything. That doesn't mean necessarily you cannot do the HP, Cisco, or Google. You can do the same thing. But there are more things we do. My architect does QA sometimes to our own detriment. We do, sales guys sometimes write a press release. I had a very difficult customer meeting in the last 2 weeks. I'm very open about this. This customer uses like 10 different hardware modules. They have HP, Cisco, Dell, all x86 servers. They moved 130 petabytes to Nexenta, and they're doing block, file, and all these workloads. And now they're doing OpenStack. They're taking vSphere out. They're putting Xen. And we go into this company as a startup, and they're telling us we are the only person to call. We are the only throat to choke. This is, for most people, is scary. So my sales rep in the meeting, and this happened in China, by the way, in Beijing, my sales rep's freaking out. This Chinese guy, he's completely freaking out. In China, people are very organized. So this is his job selling. He's like, how am I going to deal with this? This is a big conglomerate. All these petabytes, every question is going to come to us. I said, this is an opportunity, right? As an extent, as a startup now, we have a control point for all these workloads and hardware systems is to provide the level 1 support. I am gone. Let's hire people and go for it. In a public company, you cannot do this. Not because you don't want to, because there are certain rules and so on. So the beauty of the startup in Nexenta and how we compete is we move faster. And I think a company came to me earlier, 6 Degrees. Is he here? The PR? Yeah, you're right there. X-Tex 100, my friend. Look, I love this. PR company, US, now moves here, starts his own thing. I love it. So 6 degrees of separation. I think, in my opinion, 1 degree of separation. That is our competitive edge. Hiring the best people and retaining them. And obviously, being close to the customer and problems. When I see a problem with a customer, I love it, dude. Bring me the most difficult customer who hates me. So turning that around and making it positive is the best enjoyment in life. Don't tell my wife, she hates it when I say that. She goes, I thought I was your enjoyment of her life. By the way, true story. One of my challenging customer meetings, I brought my wife in. She was like, oh, she's a nurse. She goes, I've never seen something like this. We deal with customers who are patients, who have problems, health problems, and they come to the doctor to be, healed. It's all positive, right? In software, the patient is yelling at you. They want to be healed, but they're going to kill you first before you get healed. And I love that opportunity. In open source, there's an even bigger deal because none of these things are standard. Everything is changing. And I believe now at a higher level, for India and entrepreneurs here and schools, huge opportunity, man. Open source with software-defined everything and cloud opportunity beyond everything else is a huge, huge opportunity for the country, in my opinion, to innovate and build new technologies around this because standardization is not there. When there's no standardization and chaos, there's opportunity to create value and IP, right? That's happening now.
Hi, I have the mic here.
You have the mic, of course, you have the power.
I'm Sachin from Intel. Two questions. Very radical ideas about taking customers along with you and really working on the problems. How does your partner and channel model works with you? Are they in the same line, same wavelength as you kind of scale up and reach more customers? And second question is, a lot of governments are now started talking about data in their own country. Now, does that affect your model or does that offer you another opportunity to kind of work?
Actually, that works for our model 100%. So first of all, Intel is one of our key customers, just to let you know. Bev Cryer, Mike Bell, your Internet of Things. Brian is taking the company all the way. The guy who runs that, Mike Bell and Aaron Arkan, are dear friends of mine. I actually play soccer with them on the weekends. We not only work together, but we also play together. That's very important in business, by the way, and a side note. Someone was asking me, how do you build relationships? It's not work, play together, but it's also part of the work. Going back to what you're saying is two things. Data governance is still a big opportunity, and I think there's another opportunity for India. Cross-border data management and data storage is a big deal. So Amazon is having a lot of challenges because of that. So they have to open up data centers everywhere. That's not, in my opinion, economically feasible. So there are so many mini Amazons around the world. Out of our 6,000 customers, nearly 2,000 are service providers, hosting services, small companies. They have only 50 customers, small Amazons. All they do is a specific workload, specific data type, only for one industry. Let me give you one example. VM racks out of San Diego. The founder is from India, as a matter of fact, from Pune. And this guy, a couple of founders, and these guys, and also a gentleman who is from Mexico originally, complete immigrants, they started a cloud service only for hospitals because they believe hospitals don't do good patient care via cloud. So they created a cloud front end for the hospitals in the region. And in that region, they have the HIPAA compliant agreement with these hospitals. They use all Nexenta underneath and they deliver patient care services. So the hospitals don't build their own cloud services themselves because it costs money. Think about the opportunity in India. How many hospitals, how many schools, how many public services you can cloudify, and you don't want to go to Amazon because you want to keep the data here locally and also with the people that you touch and you meet. So that is an opportunity for companies like us. As I said, 1/3 of my business is all cloud service companies. For other companies like hardware-based companies, which you also sell your chips to, your processing to, your boards to, they sell to enterprises, and that's where the most of the profit is. When they go sell Amazon, Amazon buys in bulk, and the profits go down. HP's biggest nightmare is 3 Amazons buy all the servers in the world. That might be a good thing for a hardware company. Agreed? I'm just not giving fairly. You want more people buy, right? With cloud, with public cloud, to us, software vendors and software entrepreneurs in the room, that's an opportunity. Because it doesn't matter. Public cloud, private cloud, personal cloud, government cloud, hybrid cloud, are all opportunities for us to deliver software-defined data center software and a service around that. I believe the losers in this, and I'm just being open and people might not agree with me, is the hardware vendors. Hardware vendors are going to only win if they can integrate, like iPhone did, right, the entire stack into a differentiated model. And in the data center, that's difficult today. I'm sure someone is going to figure this out. Imagine the data center turns into an iPhone. One button you turn on and you manage from one single interface, and it's simple to manage. I'm just saying this not as a joke. I believe the data center is going to turn into a mobile phone experience at some point. But to achieve that is going to create more commoditization for the hardware vendor. So hardware vendor needs to be differentiated faster. And I believe software-defined companies like us has that opportunity, has that holy grail and differentiation layer. That is the reason, by the way, HP has storage, right? HP sells left-hand and three-part. We do tons of work with HP server group. Because when the customer says three-part and left-hand is costing me $300, $400 minimum per terabyte, on the high end, EMC costs their EMC product costs $12,000 per terabyte. For transactional storage, for instance, that's okay. But why do you need that for your level 2, tier 2, tier 3 archive storage? 80% of the storage data is all archive, not transactional. Why do you spend all that money? There's so much opportunity. So same thing for networking and compute. So HP Server Group, Tom Bradich, the team doing the Moonshot and all the groups, we work with. We compete on the storage side of things, but on the server group goes, no, actually we can win together. We run on their servers, SanDisk Flash underneath, Micron, Samsung, Seagate, whatever that is, and bring the cost to $10, $20, $30 per terabyte. Cheaper than that Western Digital drive you buy in Apple store. This is differentiation, but it's just the beginning. I think the next level up from this is the contextual intelligence, streaming analytics, predictive modeling for the failures, and tie that to security, like FireEye did, right, with Palo Alto Networks. Now new types of technologies coming into space, and manage the entire stack. Whatever the cloud platform underneath doesn't matter. From OpenStack to Red Hat to VMware, Citrix, Microsoft, let them innovate, compete with open source, but manage that data end to end. From storage to network to compute in a hyper-converged way is the biggest opportunity. The reason I keep talking about this, I think in India, you have such a huge opportunity to differentiate in that from a software perspective. And I believe Taiwan and Korea and China is going to compete to make sure their hardware is not losing value because they're getting more commoditized. And I think India has opportunities to partner with China, with Taiwan, to connect those dots together. There are opportunities for 1 + 1 = 3. I think you should spend more time there and they should spend more time here. That Hitachi guy was here earlier from Japan. He came to me after, is he here? He came to me afterwards and said, look, I work for Hitachi. I love my company, but I think this is the model to go. I would love to work with you, and I'm trying to connect Japan with India. Good thinking, right? This guy is always trying to bring the Japanese company to India. And he is really excited about it. He was talking to me, and he wants to talk to me about it. He wants to work for Nexenta. I'm going to hire him. Yeah. Joking all aside, I think that opportunity is going to be big. And obviously for Intel as the core platform provider underneath. I know I'm just maybe told more than what you needed.
So, just a housekeeping, we have 5 minutes more.
Okay.
Hi, Kiran, 60 Degrees PR.
Okay.
The question to you, Tarkan, is a lot of startups have great ideas. And often, the giants of the IT industry try and leverage that IP and try and distract the startups so that they don't kill their own business by either guerrilla marketing or, distracting the customers in that direction. What are you doing to ensure that Nexenta's value prop stays intact and you don't get distracted or get, cannibalized or, pounded over by the giants of who are your competitors?
In my view, come on, guys. In my view, take this for what it's worth. And I think, I believe we're not the most successful entrepreneurs in my company, but I think we've done some good work in our history. I think number one thing is for entrepreneurs to be successful with startup mode is consistency, and in my opinion, to tell the story the same way all the time. And I think in India you have an opportunity for that. Not deviating from story is very critically important. My team, they know I'm very, very crazy about this. I freak out even on my logo. If the orange in one country on the business card different than the other orange is our color, I freak out. I don't fire people, but I get really pissed. Messaging, like we say total freedom, 100% love, right? All software, whatever our messaging is, I want the same messaging everywhere. Because that's important. Because as a small company, one thing that you have against a large company, that consistency. Because in large company, you have so many different things to sell. I mean, think about HP. HP probably has millions of SKUs. Easy. Cisco, for fact, right? We were talking about it. You're running Catalyst product line, right? Probably there are another 100 product lines that Cisco is going to buy more. It's difficult to tell that story. And that's one of the biggest problems with large companies. I think as small companies, your number one tool is that consistency and laser sharp focus. Have you seen the movie 300? Right, the famous war, Persians and Spartans? There was a little story there. I think that's a perfect story for VCs and entrepreneurs. 100 people fighting 1 million people. 300 people fighting 1 million people. The story is, they didn't even fight the war in the big open land. They fought it on a little cave entrance, right? There's a reason. Because with a startup, your focus is so narrow, you're fighting as a large company. We're doing software-defined storage with 250 people, including some of our contractors. In the entire EMC company, probably there are only 10 people can talk about that. But EMC has 20,000 people. So you said 16? 60,000. Sorry, thank you. Are you from EMC?
I gave him my resignation.
I love it. EMC is a great company, by the way. Don't get me wrong. They changed this industry. Joe Tucci, phenomenal CEO. They've done amazing things. I never diss the large company. Don't misunderstand it. But I think from an India entrepreneur and startup perspective, your biggest advantage is that narrative, consistent, same message all the time. I sometimes see websites in India. One page is one color, the other page is another color. Wrong. I think that's a big mistake. Those little things matter. When you do a press release, when you do an announcement, every single announcement, same boilerplate, same message. If you're selling oranges, I'm the best orange maker. Don't say bananas. You're doing orange, talk about orange. If you're doing bananas, if you're doing blue bananas, never talk about yellow bananas. You're the blue banana company. And when you're talking about your pitch, give it as such. Like I made this example earlier. Everybody comes to me and gives me a card because we do investments. I'm an investor. If you have an idea, I'll invest. They come to me and go, we are a mobile tech company. That doesn't mean anything. You know how many mobile tech companies in this room right now? How many people are in the room? Everybody in this room is doing mobile tech. So there is no differentiation. What do you do differently? Mobile security. What do you do differently? Malware. How do you do it? Cloud-based. Just say it. One sentence and say it all the time until everybody is sick and tired. In my company, I'm the dumbest guy. When press releases come out, success stories come out, all I look for is messaging, colors, format, and the content. Consistent, all day, every day, until everybody is crazy, boring, same way. That is the biggest secret for success for a startup. That doesn't mean necessarily go to new markets and so on. The messaging, the narrative. Like a politician. Like when politicians go and fight and give speeches, think about it. They speak about the same things. Healthcare, education, energy, environment, economy. Anything else? And the ones who lose votes, usually their narrative is not consistent. You have to be consistent. Not to fake the customer. You have to be a consistent company. That's what we do. We are software-defined storage. We do software only. I was on a panel. On the panel, there were 10 CEOs. Some of the CEOs came here, by the way. Okay? Big companies, from EMC to NetApp to HP, everybody in between, talking about software-defined storage. My story is, who can download a piece of software and run on any server? That's my story, and nobody can. That's my differentiation. As a startup, that's my strength, and customers love me because of that. So if I don't push that message, I lose my value. That's our message. And we're taking that to software-defined data center now, network computing, working with other open source companies from Cumulus Networks to Big Switch to Docker, name the company. And the reason we love open source, we believe the industry is going that way. And I believe India should be going that way. I think there's a huge opportunity there. Open source doesn't mean necessarily free software. It doesn't mean necessarily free software, right? There's a service component to it. You are the PhDs on that. In India, we are the PhDs on that, right? How to give the best service, listen to customer. I think connecting those dots in an open SDX well is a huge opportunity. I'll take one last question. I know he's like, you're all freaked out. Are you okay? Calm down. Let me hear your heart. His heart is like boom, 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 boom going. Okay, one.
So I'm Pradeep Bhargav from Glad Minds.
Great minds.
Glad Minds.
Glad minds. Glad is glad. I'm glad. Okay.
So my question is, as you're building the product, how do you partner with resellers to take the product to a global scale?
Sure. I think that was the same question you added. I didn't answer. I apologize. That was the first question you asked. So tying to this both together. I think for a startup, for us, and for all the companies I've worked in, channel is critically important. We are a 100% channel company because I don't want to hire 50,000 sales reps. And that's one of the biggest problems for large companies. OPEX, right? You need to have office space, cost, travel, T&E. That's, if you're a CEO, you're looking at your OPEX and CAPEX, right? There are two line items, your SG&A and your R&D. I want my OPEX to be in R&D, not in SG&A. SG&A, my cost of goods sold, should be as low as possible so I have high gross margin. That's the key success story, right? High gross margin so you can give near free product and grow your volume. Simple, right? Business is simple when you think about it. So having said all this, channel is the holy grail to achieve optimized, minimized cost of goods sold. So we deliver our software through channel partners only. In each country, we have a distributor, sometimes two, because this way we can negotiate better. I learned a lot in Korea. Two distributors. Distributors distribute to resellers, reseller deliver. We spend money with the distributor and train them for them to train the resellers because there are resellers everywhere. You go to Korea or Japan, in each city, or India, each city has multiple resellers. I cannot touch every single person. So distributor, whether that's Ingram or Arrow or Avnet or local distributor is our go-to-market. And tie it to OEM deals. We have an OEM deal going on with HP, Dell, Cisco, Supermicro, Quanta, Vistron. All those server vendors put Nextendo on top, and their distributors distribute with our distributor. So you have double whammy effect. And that's the only way we can beat the large companies. We are in every single Fortune 500 company in some shape or form because of that. Even though we're a small company, because of the channel, we are everywhere. To build those relationships takes time and investment. And I've been spending my time traveling around the world, meeting resellers, distributors all the time, shaking hands, training them, going to customers together. My key secret on that is choosing distributors who are not factory workers. Big distributors are usually seeing you as yet another vendor. Like when you go to Ingram, great company, but they have 1,000 SKUs in their bucket. I like distributors who are small family-owned businesses, maybe 30, 40 people, and they distribute with focus on a stack. They choose Docker, Nexenta, Cumulus Network for SDN, and do something maybe with Cisco or EMC or NetApp also on the side, but they have a much more specific and targeted go-to-market activity. So usually we do one large one small one like that, and then resellers underneath. And that gives us a lot of reach. Let me give you an example. In Japan, I have no sales rep, no SC, nobody. I have 450 customers in Japan, largest banks. In Japan, doing business is very difficult. Quality, service, these type of things are very important. I was talking to the Hitachi guy earlier. But our distribution and resellers are so strong, they bring us on our behalf. And my cost of goods sold is almost nothing. We have 90% gross margin. And even though we have service and support built in. So I think that's a key differentiator also for Indian companies to be successful around the world. Identifying the right resellers, distributors, coming to these events, meeting them. In the future, maybe there might be a track for channel partners and bring in a few people like Ingram and so on to give examples. I'm sure, is there anybody from Ingram or Avnet here? Invite them next time to share their views. But I think for Indian companies, especially going global, channel is critically important. Because you're not going to be able to hire all the salespeople. You don't want to. It's too expensive. In each country, I have a sales rep, an SC, and a support person. They train, inspire the rest of the team. In India, we have about 5 people now. Vikram and Suhas lead our sales organization, business organization. They have a new SC team and support team. They work with Wipro, Infosys, Cognizant, HCL, TCS, and we partner with them. And they go with us to the market together because they want also innovation with their resellers. So it's a happy love network. Hence, we call it 100% software, total freedom, all love. This is the last. This is the last question. Okay.
Dropbox and Apple offering the 20 terabyte free, right? How do you handle those kind of storage?
So, as I said, like nothing different than Amazon, right? A lot of these services are going to provide a very low cost, even free storage.
20 terabyte at
Of course. SLAs are different, how they do, 5, 6, 7, 9 support, what kind of data type can you store, how long can you store, what tiers can you store.
They're using the same technology like
Yes, they use a lot of our technology.
software.
Yeah. A lot of our file system is underneath those technologies. That's why we love public cloud. Someone was asking me earlier, I have Amazon workloads, how do I use you? You're already using us under Amazon. Amazon uses an early form of CFS as well. But most companies are going to, we believe, going to have hybrid cloud. Because you're going to have certain data for many different reasons. Regulation and so on, you're going to keep it internal. So there's opportunity in both ways. Thank you guys, really appreciate it.
Guys, this is why he's called a force of nature. Give him a hand. Big hand, guys.